Have you ever wanted to brew a hard seltzer? No, me neither, but we're doing it today. Big Rob with Make Beer Easy. Today we've got ourselves a brew day. My daughter has been after me to brew a seltzer, so I said, screw it. They're so easy to do. I wouldn't even need to buy a kit, but I said, screw it. So I just bought this hard seltzer kit from, what's it called? Craft a Brew. I'll put the link to where I got it under this video if you want to pick it up and do it yourself. Very simple. Make your own hard seltzer is easy, almost as easy as drinking it. This flavor is grapefruit. I might mix it up a little bit, not do grapefruit. You don't get to the flavoring part until you go to the bottling. So all this is, guys, is you just basically heat up the sugar in the water. You dump her in the fermenter, which comes with this, which I'll show you. You drop the yeast, you let her sit for a couple weeks, fermenting per usual with the airlock in that bad boy. And then you add flavor to each bottle. Little trick, when I own my brew pub, we would do Wacky Wednesdays where you would, hey, you like my shirt? You don't scare me. I have $2, baby. It's true. I ain't scared. Gone through enough. We would do Wacky Wednesdays where we do one keg, 40 pints of some crazy beer. And a lot of times I just make a blonde and then just flavor it with Mio. So Mio actually is a good way to flavor your beer. And I'll probably do it with this. I'll probably put a little bit of this grapefruit, which I don't think my daughter would like grapefruit. I'll probably try one of their flavoring in one of the bottles, and then I'll probably add some Mio to the other ones and see how that goes. So let's take a look what's inside. Got ourselves a nice little fermenter. That's one of the reasons I got the kit, because I didn't want to do a full 5-gallon batch of seltzer. Not my deal. Top of the fermenter's got a nice little spot for the airlock. That's cool. We got some directions, which again, very easy, but we'll run through them. We've got ourselves some, this would be the sugar. Dextrose, just dextrose. So that's all that's going to make your liquor is just the dextrose. We've got ourselves an airlock, comes with the airlock to go top of the fermenter. So that's cool. It's a neat little kit. Got ourselves a funnel. Look at that. That must be for bottling. That's real cute. Like, guess we'll have to worry about oxygenating it. We got a sanitizer. One steps, no rinse sanitizer. I'll probably just use my old Star San since I'm used to it. There's your grapefruit flavoring. No, sorry, that's wrong. That's the yeast nutrient. So that actually, that I believe, we'll look at the directions, but I'm pretty sure that goes into the boil as soon as the boil's done, actually. We'll take a look at the directions though. This is your natural grapefruit flavoring. Don't even know what the hell it is, but that's to be split between, this probably makes about 6 bottles, I'm guessing. And there's your yeast. To give you a decent yeast, this would be sparkling wines. I was going to say champagne yeast, most likely. I think the ABV on this boy comes out about 4.5. And then your cute little fermenter. So I might even try brewing some little batches of beer in there. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, hard seltzer instructions. Let's get at it. All right, pretty simple, guys. I'm not going to read this whole thing clearly. Other recommended items. So you need a large stock pot, so a pot on your stove. A spoon, ice cubes. So I went out and I bought 2 bags of ice cubes because you do a, I don't know, you do an ice bath to cool down the, I want to call it wort. I don't know if they still call it wort or not. Anyways, the liquid after you boil her. 10 swing top bottles. Oh, screw me. 10 bottles. That's wild. 1 gallon, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. 1 gallon of distilled or reverse osmosis water. Nope, we're not doing that. It says spring water, tap water is not recommended, but can be used in a pinch. We're in a pinch, so we're using tap water. It's well water, so that's what we're going to use. I do have distilled, actually. I do have distilled. I don't know. I'll think about it. I got 4 liters. I don't know how many gallons that would make. Anyway, maybe we'll use that. I'm going to think about it. Sanitize. So we're going to sanitize all the equipment. Obviously, just be the same as brewing. We'll fill this bad boy up. Anything that's going to touch the finished product, we're going to sanitize. Proper sanitation. Most important step. That's what I teach. In making your own hard seltzer. If any outside bacteria get in your seltzer, they will grow and produce off flavors. No bueno. To sanitize, fill the glass jar with water. Stir in half the packet of sanitizer. Place your airlock and spoon inside the jar. Soak for 60 seconds. I would also put your scissors that you're going to use to cut any of these packages. I'd put them in there. Remove the accessories from the jar. Place on a clean paper towel. I take a plate and I put sanitizer on it. I put stuff on there. No rinsing necessary. It's a no rinse sanitizer. Same with Star San. I do rinse it a bit. Now screw on the lid and plug the hole with a clean thumb. Shake lightly to sanitize. All right, so just shake it around. All right. So that's it, guys. Next steps. Day one of brewing, pour about half a gallon of water in your pot, but leave a few inches of room. You can always add more water to your jar later. Place your pot on burner and turn up high. That's what we're going to get started on here first. Once you see the first boiling bubble, take your pot off the burner, stir the sugar into the pot, making sure it does not clump or stick. Stir for 1 minute until sugar is completely dissolved. Bring the mixture back to boil. That's why I don't know why they're saying don't use tap water. I thought it'd be for bacteria. Maybe they're thinking it'll give an off flavor, just not off flavor, just the taste of your tap water. You don't want to use chlorine. Like if you got chlorine, if you're in city water, don't use that unless you leave it out all night and let the chlorine dissipate. But my water tastes good for beer, so it'll taste good for seltzer. Bring the mixture back to boil and boil for a full 5 minutes and stir in the yeast nutrient while the mixture's still hot. Now you need to create an ice bath. Okay, so we're going to get going on the first part, one step at a time. And no idea where I put my click to turn this bad boy off. So I'm going to use my hand. We'll be right back when it gets set up. We're going to brew up this badass seltzer. Yo! Just recorded a whole section here and realized I didn't record it. That really pisses Big Rob off. What I'm saying is we are at the very simple but important sanitizing portion of the brew day. This is what I use. Good old Star San. Do not fear the foam. This stuff's badass. Sanitize everything right up for you. By all means, you can go ahead and use, and I got water everywhere here, you can go ahead and use the sanitizer that came with the kit. By all means, proceed. And then what I do, guys, even this is what I'm using for, I'm using this to pour the water into my pot, the gallon of water. Even though I'm going to be boiling it, I'm not anal that I'm sanitizing this container. Here's the fermenter full of Star San sanitizing. My pot, even though I'm going to be boiling again, I've sanitized it because it's only going to be gallons, big pot. I want to make sure that all the areas of the pot are sanitized. So sanitize anything. I put the airlock into the fermenter full of Star San to sanitize it. I'm going to fill this with some Star San liquid, give it a good wipe. This is the lid to the fermenter. You want everything sanitized. Most important part, hence why I'm dwelling on it. Sanitize the shite out of everything. We'll be back as we get this bad boy to a boil. All right, gang. Instructions. So it said pour half a gallon of water and bring it to a boil. I'm doing the full gallon. I kind of understand why it wants you to only do half and then top it up with tap water. I'm guessing it's just easier to cool, get it down to temperature in time. I'm not worried about that. I'm actually going to do a little maneuver here where I got to go get my head buzzed, little clean up of the hair. So I'm going to ice bath it as long as I can until I got to leave, and then I'm going to throw it in the fridge because I don't even have a scale that will. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. It says as soon as it starts to boil, move it off the heat. Woo! And stir in the sugar. So we'll talk about the other stuff that I'm going to do once I get there. Here's the sugar. I got my spoon, sanitizing. Again, we're going to go to a boil after this, so not as important right now because everything that's going into the mixture will get boiled for 5 minutes. Woo! Woo! We got live action. So we said, once you see the first boiling bubble, take your pot off the burner, stir the sugar into the pot, make sure it does not clump or stick to the bottom. All right, we don't want it sticking to the bottom. No clumping. This is so easy compared to making beer, guys. So freaking easy. We're just basically it's carbonate. It's carbonate. It's fermented sugar water is what it is. That's all seltzer is, unless they're using vodka instead of the sugar. That's it, guys. So next step, we'll just give that a little stir. Make sure it's all dissolved up. Next up, bring the mixture back to boil and boil for 5 minutes. Then stir in the old yeast nutrient. So we'll be back to stir in the old yeast nutrient. Guys, I'm sure all of you know what an ice bath is, but I'm going to run you through it anyways, just because this is Make Beer Easy. We got to cover all the basics. Real simple. Grab yourself some bags of ice, put them in the old sink, fill her up with some cold water, not all the way because the pot's got to fit in there, and then that's your ice bath. So it's just it's a cheap, inexpensive way to cool your wort. Okay, so that's what we got coming up next after I stir in the yeast nutrient, which we're at a boil. So we're supposed to boil for 5 minutes. I got about 2 or 3 minutes left. We'll come in, we'll stir up the old yeast nutrient. We'll get her into the ice bath. And we're pretty much done, baby. We're getting there. This is as easy as shit I've ever brewed in my life. Yes, sir. Might taste like hell, but we'll find out. We'll drink her anyways, even if it does. You betcha. Instructions say stir in the yeast nutrient while the liquid is still hot. Not real clear instructions. Hot or boiling? I don't believe that hot. Oh, watch out. Look at that. We almost poured those packaged bad boys. Those, whatever these things are, preservative fuckers in with it. That would have sucked. I don't like, unlike yeast, I don't think that hot liquid hurts the yeast nutrient. So we're going to get it in there. It is off the burner, but still would be pretty close to boiling. Got that all sanitized up. That being the spoon. And I'm going to stir her up. Stir this up. I'm going to put the lid back on. Give her a good stir. Blah, blah, blah. Stir, make sure everything's melted. I'm going to put the lid back on. And then I did take the lid off while I was boiling because I have a habit of brewing beer. I don't think it's as big a concern in brewing this basically sugar water. I would be lying if I said I know, so I'm not going to, but I did take it off because when you're making beer, that causes off flavors if you boil with your lid on, so you want that off. So that's what I did here. Anyway, that's stirred up good enough for me. I'll put that back into the sanitizer, and I'm going to put the lid on like I said. And I'm going to grab myself some mitts so I don't burn the shite out of myself. And into the ice water we go. That sucks. Now I've got to move the ice around to get that right. But that's what we got, guys. I'll be back when that is cooled down. I might have a new haircut by that time. And we're going to transfer it to the fermenter. Yeah. All right, gang. It's the next day. New t-shirt, new do, the whole deal. Here's the update, what I did. I ice bathed the shit out of that for about an hour or so. I don't have a thermometer, like I said, that I could actually test it, so I said, screw it. I then went and got my hair done, and in the meantime, I dropped the kettle with the lid on it into the fridge, and I actually left it there all night. So now it's fridge temperatures, too low, but that won't hurt the yeast. That just puts it dormant, but I've had it out for the last 3 or 4 hours, sitting under my mini split heat pump, coming back up to room temperature. So everything's sanitized. I've rinsed out the fermenter, airlock set up. I've got the sanitizer in there. My plate here is covered in sanitizer. I got my spoon on there. I got my scissors to cut the yeast. We had the yeast here a second ago. There it is. Decided to fall under there. So all we're going to do, I'm going to put this in the sink so they don't make a big mess. This is so easy, man. I'm going to give that a little stir just to make sure everything's in suspension. All the yeast nutrients, and the sugar should already melted, so it should just be yeast nutrients I'm seeing there. We're going to pour that in, and it should be 1 gallon. And you can aerate it here. You can let oxygen go crazy with it because the yeast loves oxygen at this stage. Pretty close, pretty close. Yep, we nailed it. They say it's about 1 inch under the lid grooves, so close enough to me. 1 inch to whatever. Now what we're going to do? Get your sanitizer. Get your yeast. I always give it a little dip in the sanitizer too, solution, just extra cautious, making sure we're not getting any bacteria in. There's some sugar water. We're gonna pitch the yeast like that. They say to give it a good stir. So I'm gonna give it a little stir. I'm not a huge believer that you gotta stir the shit out of this stuff. It's not bad though. At this stage, this is the only time you want oxygen into your solution here. Yeast loves oxygen. Okay, and that's it. We'll take this bad boy, screw her on there, and we've got ourselves a completed brew day. Next steps will be, I'll leave that for like 2 weeks for sure. Get his get her all cleaned up as well as we can, and then I'll be back to bottle and add flavor. So we'll do the flavor then. Cheers, guys. Big grab. Well, you go.